One other thing that I would like to show you, Joe, that is coming down the pipeline, and probably in the next couple of months, we've actually promised it by the end of fourth quarter, is this right here, okay? This is just a small little graphic, if you will, of how we do some of our analogies. The piece that already exists for customers, okay? So for customers, your main customer, let's just call it Joe. So Joe would have a little piece that we could start holding things, okay? So this is Joe's information, number one, okay? Joe doesn't have any line items. He doesn't have any payments. Those are tied to invoices. He will have system histories. How many times did I modify Joe? Oh, let's collect all of Joe's special data points. We're going to use FlexGrid, okay? Special relationships, this may or may not be important, but this is like what invoices did he have, et cetera, et cetera. We are definitely going to use photos and scans. And these two pieces right here, Joe, are the pieces that may end up being very important for bowling, okay? So a custom document, what a custom document is it means that they prepare the document physically, like they give us the exact layout, whatever's the industry standard, and we tie it from the background so that it can be used by those customers. So we can autofill data, then we can do stuff. The piece that does not exist, this exists already, okay, number 8. Number 9, right here, this does not exist currently, okay? Other content. So what you could technically do there is say you had a custom document that had specific specs. You could potentially even save that custom document and tie it to the thing with inside of Adilas. And so it's content management. Content management could be video, audio, Excel, PDF, etc., etc. Stuff that aren't photos and scans. So I could potentially see that being a need, and this has already been promised coming in fourth quarter, kind of document management for any of the pieces of the puzzle. But
okay, so are you saying, and I know you've done this for the trailer stuff, that the custom document can have openable or fillable fields that then can go into Adilas? Is that what you're kind of going with, or you're saying even beyond that?
Okay, so why don't we, just for fun, I'm going to switch gears, and instead of staying in Bowling Pro Shop, I'm going to show you, and I know you saw this last time, Joe, but remember that school that was kind of doing some stuff and they wanted to...
Yeah, and I unfortunately missed most of that, but I saw enough of it to get excited about the interface and how cool it looked.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the school interface for just a second, and I want to show you how they're using FlexGrid as a custom little piece of the puzzle. So if we switch here, here's the simple little interface, okay? And the Bowling Pro Shop could literally be lined out however you wanted it to. Like if you wanted it to look cool with lanes or cabinets or balls, and like you could literally be like, click on all the balls and it can take you right to those, and then you could be like, oh, I wanted one of those, or the shoes.
I think that'd be awesome.
You could
customize.
You could trick it out really, really awesome. So here's what they do, okay? This is just a demo site, but they click on this core data piece right here, okay? And here's my different, pretend that these are my students, okay? We got Betty and Wendy and Bob. If I wanted to actually add these core data points, if I click on this, it wants to know the age, the core, and the section. So let's just go, hey, this is a 5-year-old. We're dealing with mathematics, and we're going to do geometry under math. When I hit continue, what I did is basically I just submitted the page back to itself, so I already know their first couple pieces, the 5, the mathematics, and the geometry. Behind the scenes, I'm actually filtering and saying, whoa, these are the ones that I have to be able to filter that down to. Let's say that they're doing composing shapes, and they are beginning and any sort of notes. Here's the date, and they add the core data. So like technically, you know how we use corp-wide settings all around the place? This add core data is basically going to send it to, if I mouse over this, watch right down here in my screen if you can see it.
Okay.
It says secure add edit FlexGrid action. Okay, so this is almost like a virtual corp-wide setting for FlexGrid. We just called it core data in the point. So if I hit add, click. Okay, I'm now on Wendy's record. If I scroll down, here's some core data points. This is the one I just added. core tracking, 5-year-old, mathematics, geometry, composing shapes and sizes. She's beginning, and whatever my notes are. So like I have these core data points, and they're all related to what I call them in the different sections. But that's kind of a virtual thing. This is a new piece that we haven't shown any. But Joe, did that kind of answer some of your question?
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's it's. I guess in our system we're doing a lot of customer logs in our CRM, but I see this is sort of a quicker way to organize it. It's just more linear than doing like a customer log, or in this case a student log.
Okay, correct. So if I just did a log, it would be really tough because I'd basically have to do something like this: general note, math, geometry, emerging. Like, it's not really organized. I'd have all the data, but it wouldn't really go in correctly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's where the FlexGrid comes in, because you can itemize, like you say, up to 15 different features or categories, or bowling finger sizes or whatever. Yeah.
What I wanted to do is, you saw how this kind of went in. What it technically did is I'm going to hit edit by this, which is basically going to go to add edit FlexGrid tie-in, okay? So it knew which student it was attached to. This is the host, Wendy, which for you it would be Joe Bowler, okay? He may not be connected to any subs. These are kind of like your buddy system. Do I need to be connected to anything? And then here's where some of the custom fields would start coming in as far as what we named them. Currently, we have used 13 out of our possible 15 custom fields for the people. What we're doing is we're actually just going to this level for the core tracking. The other thing that they wanted to do was some grades. So subject, assignment, possible points, received points, and grades. And then we actually added a third thing, which is like random medical conditions, like if they wanted to asthma or whatever. So diabetic. And then it just comes down, and here's the other pieces of the FlexGrid. So technically, instead of just saying add a new piece of FlexGrid, we put a little custom wrapper over the top of it, so that literally all they did was they went click one single button, they clicked here, and they're instantly right into the add edit FlexGrid, but it doesn't say anything about FlexGrid per se. We're almost kind of like using it as a background piece to store that information.
Okay, just as a quick demo, and I know you can do this real fast, go back to those 13 FlexGrids. Can you add one for me? For example, for little kids, it might be cool to do height and weight, or just height, because then you can see how they grow over time as they go through grades or something. I'm just so you can show me how to add.
Okay, perfect. Let's
add one to that list of the 13.
No problem. So you're going to be here at a home page, and most likely you're not going to have this interface. This right here would take me to the FlexGrid homepage. What I'm going to do is get to a more standard option that you've seen before. Let's just go to my favorites just for a second, okay? We're going to scroll down to the F's, FlexGrid tie-ins, go to the FlexGrid homepage. You have to have the admin permission in order to do this, but if you click on this right here, this will tell you all of your custom fields. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just minimize this for a second, just so you can kind of get an overall view, okay? Now, I know it looks really small, but each of these darker bars are the different 12 categories. Now, you can see under my customer category, I have tons of new pieces that are kind of built into that. I'll just go back into normal size so you can see. I just wanted you to see the whole page as far as how it's outlined. So back from the top, here's the top of the page: balance sheet, deposits, elements of time, employees, expense receipts, invoices, your items, which is your parts, your POs, your quotes, your stock units, your students, which technically is your customers, okay? So what we do is here's where it starts numbering. My number 1 field is a dynamic drop-down list, and I wanted 2 different things. Am I doing core tracking or grades? Okay. My number 2 field was also a dynamic drop-down. This is where I get my ages from. But my number 3 field was the core. This is your English, math, science, etc. My number 4 section, start editing a few more pieces of it. Once again, it was also a dynamic drop-down. We came in here. This is an open entry field, the objectives. This number 5, this is the one that I'm dynamically doing we built a custom page for them. They probably had 200, 300 different custom objectives, but it was all related to those three pieces above it. What's the age, the core, and the section, and then I'm going to dynamically create something. So instead of putting all 200 right here, I actually left it as an open text field, but the custom code actually has all of those values in it, okay? So that's FlexGrid field number 5. Then I added a rating score, an alternative rating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can see a bunch of these are open entry fields. So after medical condition, you said you wanted something like height and weight. It could be this easy. I'm back at the top of the page. I select my student and or customer, and I basically go like this. It's going to be an open entry field. Here's my options. Do I want open entry? Do I want a drop down? Or do I want a combo of both, like both pre-selected options and or I can fill it in? And I would just probably say open entry. And I literally would go like this. Add the field, click. So technically right this second, number 14 is now height and weight. So literally what I can do now is let's just go find Betty. I think we had Betty as one of our students, didn't we?
Betty or Wendy, yeah.
Well, maybe it was Wendy.
Wendy.
Boom, here's Wendy. If I click on log and I come down here, basically as soon as I hit edit or if I add something, I can instantly start playing with that. Let's just hit edit just for fun so you can see where it goes in. But here's my new piece of the puzzle. Height and weight.
So then you could punch in there 3 foot 6 inches and 66 pounds, and then that's just tied with her. I suppose if you did a drop down, it could be recorded over time, something like that.
Correct. If you needed to, that's not a problem. Watch this. I'm going to actually go back for just a second, and instead of hitting edit on this one that has this core data tracking piece, I'm going to say add a new piece of FlexGrid to Wendy. And I'm going to just come down and I'm going to put her height and weight. Okay. So let's say that she's 3 foot, I don't know, that's 4.5 inches or something. And she's 65 pounds. Now I can date this right here, and this is kind of important. And so let's say that this was actually on 7/1, okay, of 13, and just add the tie-in. So down below, instead of it being as part of her core data piece, it actually filtered itself. So it's starting to sort things by date, and all of a sudden it just has under height and weight and a date here. So we're technically using the FlexGrid, but it just kind of is doing whatever we want it to do that way.
So it'll order it in date in that case.
Well, that's what the display is right here as far as the ordering capacity of this. Like if you wanted just certain pieces, like you can eventually collect all of these different data points depending on how they go in. Will kind of depend on what it looks like. If you needed to filter it, one of the cool things that you can do is there's a link at the top that says View Standalone FlexGrid Tie-ins. And it kind of shows you, it kind of simplifies things. And then if you wanted to even filter it even further, you could even go like this. Filter the results. You could go down to height and weight and go like this. I just want LBS. Anything that has LBS on it. Here's her Wendy's height and weight. Like it literally can shrink and do
just
things
another
as you
search.
filter your data. It's still tied perfectly to Wendy. It's just depending on what we wanted to do to like filter those data sets and stuff. So what it
or you
is,
could even compare the weight of all the students.
Correct. You could totally compare anything. And if you really wanted to do height and weight, you might even want to break it into separate features. You know, like here's my height column and here's my weight column. Or, like that's up to you depending on what your needs are. What let's do, Joe, just for a second, and I think this would be really fun, is let's switch back to the Bowling Pro Shop for just a minute. And let's go into their FlexGrid and see if they have anything that's even remotely set up yet. FlexGrid homepage, I do have the admin permission. We're going to take a look. Scrolling down, looks like under customers they have some gift card stuff, and looks like they were pretending and playing with some gift card pieces. And then invoice has some little different pieces for that. So literally we have tons of room here. We could technically add a bunch more customer fields as far as what we wanted to do for drill size and finger patterns and some of these different things. I don't know exactly what those are, But if you have an idea, we can totally plunk them in, and I can show you how it would work. And what you would do is, this comes down to consulting, like, okay, what do you really need? This isn't a problem with Adilas, it's more of a consulting deal, like, what is your need?
Well, and I suspect I'll find out a lot about how they operate when we go down there later in the week with Mel and Tish.
Correct, and you're going to have a lot more information, but basically it literally is this easy to add new columns. Like, I don't know what all of the things that they do, but say you needed a ball size.
How about something like, yeah, ball weight? That's a basic one that I know about bowling. You're always, you go over to the rack and you find out, which one is it, the 12-pounder or the 16-pounder that I want to throw.
Okay. Do we want them to fill this in, or do we actually want them to select from the 8, 9, 10, 12? Let's do a drop down.
Yeah, I think it's probably, it's probably every pound. I don't know if they have half pounds, but, since it's a play set, we could probably just do a drop down of anywhere between 6 to 18 pounds.
Okay, great. So what we did is we created a new one called ball weight, and we told it we wanted it to be a drop down list. So now this is how easy it is to actually go in and add the drop down. We can come in here. You said, are we starting at 6 pounds or 8 pounds?
Yeah, it's probably 6 for kids. I don't know how. I haven't been to a bowling alley for a while.
So watch this. I'm going to hit add sub. So technically, it's already starting to add my subs in here. Okay. What I was going to do is I was just going to hit my back button and actually add it in like this. 7. Go back. Change it to 8. Does this make sense? How I'm just going back and forth?
Just use the back arrow. Yep.
Yep. Just using my back arrow. Hit enter when I'm ready. Just backing it up. Going to 10. What I'm doing right here is just so you can see is I'm going ding, 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 ding. I'm just kind of plunking them in there, okay? And so we probably need to go up to what level do we need to go up to? To 16, is that what you said, or something like that?
I don't know what the heaviest bowling ball is. I can do a quick check.
Let's just go up to 16. If there's more, then we could easily add that.
16, yeah.
And once again, this is just you getting the information from the person and then doing it. So technically, we just added a brand new one called ball weight. We now have all of these predetermined drop-down lists, okay? Which actually I could even, once I start collecting the data, I could even filter it. Go show me everybody that likes 12-pound balls or whatever, okay? And then you could say, I just want where ball weight equals 12 lbs, and all of a sudden it pulls in just those matching records. Okay.
So you could even do you could do a kind of a survey on all your customers and find out your most popular ball weight, and that would help you with your purchasing.
Correct. That would help you with your purchasing. That would be more of like our marketing and surveying type levels like that. Marketing is huge. That's what drives sales. But
sure.
Good stuff. Did we want to add another column or anything? Or I don't know what they're trying to do on the drill things, but I imagine it's specific as far as exact.
Oh, I'm sure it's
thumb width and
almost like your. And now I heard there's some new type of drilling where they now only put your fingertips in there, which that always made me nervous when I was bowling to have my finger in there, and if it got caught, I mean, it would just take your finger off. So now they're actually doing really shallow holes, probably the depth of the holes and the size and even the angles. I'm sure there's just all kinds of intricacies.
And so
it's quite a culture. The bowling culture is pretty vast. I mean, anybody in sports knows that each sport has their own subculture of details.
I think that's where, in my mind, what I would almost recommend in some ways is they almost go to this little level, custom documents, and then we tie it to the thing. Like, you could use FlexGrid, and FlexGrid helps you get the job done, and it allows tons of options. But if it's literally a full sheet of spec after spec after spec, you're going to want to create that custom document and then be able to virtually tie it to the player, if you will. So
well, and you had a great idea, and I could see how some people would be traditionalists. And if they have a note card that has a little template on there with name and birthday and finger size, just taking a photo of it and having it there is something they can click on and pull up. And if they don't want to go through a database, they could just write up another note card and take another picture of it. So I can see how it can be simplified for people that don't want to go beyond their note card culture.
Great. It literally can be super simple. And what I'm going to do just for fun, just so you can kind of see us do this whole little process, is I physically have a piece of paper here. Actually, I have some stuff I've already scanned. What if we just went to a customer and we just added a photo? But literally, it's the exact same thing as, let's just go customer and JON, see what we have. Let's go customer all. Okay, so how about Calvin Clark? He looks like he already, looks like somebody's already had fun and kind of added a photo, but virtually this could be the same thing right here as your data spec, your 3x5 card. It's literally super easy. Once you have the permissions and you're able to add, edit photos, you could literally go like this, click, okay, what do we want to do? You know what? Cool, I'll just add another photo. Say that this one was something special. You scanned it. Whatever, add the photo. Click. Boom.
Oh, that's so easy. I could see how that. Now, if you were to, well, you went over your scanning. You could even do a digital photo of it, I suppose, couldn't you? If you just had a cell phone,
yeah.
Just snap the photo, and yeah, exactly.
Like I have.
I can see how that could be a selling point with somebody who has. Apparently, they have thousands of these 3x5 cards.
That's okay. That's okay.
So
Guess what? Each person is limited to only 100 different little photos and items. Okay. Watch this. This just has a couple, and they're funny. Here's a different one that has some photos, but like you can just start mixing and blending whatever you needed to do. Like, and these are pieces that I use sometimes in training, but like we have some that have tons and tons of pieces of the puzzle. Like, if you're okay with it, watch this. Just for fun, I'm just going to actually log in as myself. And I'm going to just show you a little piece of the puzzle that we use. So these are some history photos, okay? Check out this photo gallery right here.
Oh, wow. So just that little icon is not really the indicator of what you might have in there.
Oh, no. We put all kinds of stuff in there. Like, just to give you an idea of, like, some of this is brainstorming. Some of this is all kinds of stuff, screenshots, whatever. But like, just to give you an idea, you max out at 100 per item. But guess what we did? We added a history too. So like we needed some more items, so we have another one that we're already starting to capture. We're capturing even more stuff on this. And so here's operating agreements. Here's some of the flyers. Check this out. Here's permissions in a really rudiment style, like. Permission number 79 is add edit vendor, and like this was dated clear back in 11, but like it's just
right.
Different ways of what happens. You can pop to any of these different pieces. It doesn't matter. You can just click, and then you're into whatever you wanted to do. So check this out. This was actually the sketch of what we wanted to do for this particular.
Oh yeah.
That particular thing, and so all sorts of documentation, like. Basically, this is the one that we were just looking at back on the browser. Look at this is just out of a notebook, but it gets you all the different pieces that you need, the same as what their 3x5 cards are. And so that's not a problem at all. That's built in right now. They can do that.
Perfect.